Bulletproof Traders, guys, welcome back. Friday, last day. Wow, what a week we had, right? It was good, to say the least. It was good. I mean, yesterday was an explosive day. I'm just fired up and excited to talk about what we had in the market. So are you ready? I hope you're ready. Let's go. All right, so we just happened to sit here on the Canadian JAP, right? I mean, this one actually, let me show you the real position. Canadian JAP, that's a long-term portfolio. Wow, nice, really nice. You know, I definitely said that if price was going to break below 78.41, we're going to add one more trade. But to be honest, adding one more trade here, it went too deep, right? It went too deep. Adding one more trade here, but just before price, actually, it didn't engage. I think it engaged. No, it almost did. Lowest low 67, almost engaged with that 64. But you know, it's just, it doesn't make any sense to push one more trade just before this big support level. It's not just one, it's actually two. 77.40 is even a bigger one. So we have to respect those two, right? And we're not going to add up one more trade. But let me just say that we have 20% position size. We already took profit here. So this position is very profitable for us even now, and with just two trades. All right, that's good. That's good stuff. Yeah, I mean, we had a sensational day today, guys. Really sensational day, because if you think about it, we had a huge profit on the Euro Canadian. I think that was something like almost 6%. That's ridiculous. You know, this just one position could be a very nice month, you know, for any kind of trader, right? Just 6% just in this one. And that's just because we were able to build up that position to 40% position size. Right? 4 trades we had here going forward. And whoa, take a look at yesterday. Just an explosion. Boom! Straight to that 59.17 and then stopped. Right? That's right on the money. You gotta be impressed by that. But I mean, even though, you know, price starts the day to day, is still aggressive on the way up, and seems to be breaking, I really don't know how that's gonna end up. You know, this is the end of the day. I mean, this is the end of the week. Last day, Friday. So anything can happen. Price could spike like it did last time, right? So what we really want to take close look at is the weekly, you know, the weekly close. It might, if we're gonna have a breakout, then we're probably gonna hunt the previous high here at 61.50. You know, that's 200 pip. We might be interested in chasing it, but this time with a short-term portfolio. All right. So yeah, Euro Canadian, we're out. Huge profit on this one. What else do we have? I think we had a few more interesting targets that we've reached, right? Pound Canadian. That was a small one, to be honest. Short-term portfolio, by the way, but what an explosion. Boom. Straight to that 75.84. What do you have to say about that? And, you know, very, very similarly to the Euro Canadian, hit that target, right? Hit that point of reference, and then starting to break that level the next day, right? Take a look again. Euro Canadian, where are you? Right there. Breaking at 59.17. Here, it's the 75.84. I don't know how the day is going to end up, but I'm not going to be surprised if at some point price will come back down and close the day below 75.84 and just leave a bit of a spike here. Anyway, that was a nice shot, right? That was a nice punch. We only had one trade, but you know, short-term portfolio, it's still a good profit for us. Yeah, this one was even bigger. This one was even bigger because we had 2 trades here. Remember that? We got in when price broke 93.88. That was the trigger, remember? And then the second day, right, we added one more trade. And then yesterday, boom, straight to that 96.78, right on the money. That's what we call laser sharp precision. Boom, 96.78. Beautiful. Now, guys, here's the news. By the way, go to the watch list. Check it out. We've been updating the watch list. Quite interesting. This one is on the long-term watch list, right? If it breaks 96.78, we're all over it. We're all over it. Chasing 200, 2.0283. It's a big move. 600 pip. So we're really looking forward to that. By the way, that means, it's quite interesting. I want to show you something. Usually on Friday, you know how I like to take it much further, right? And to add other elements, educational elements, right? And in this case, I want to show you something quite interesting. I'm going to take you to the S&P 500, because there's something there's quite a scenario going on right now where usually, right, almost always, we have the JAPs fully synchronized with the stock market. And the Euro block commodity crosses are inversely correlated with the stock market. So we have, the JAPs going down, the S&P 500, the stock market's also going to go down. But this time it's different. We see the stock market pushing up, but the JAPs are falling. And, and the Euro block commodity crosses are also moving up instead of moving the opposite direction. So that's quite interesting, right? So you see the S&P 500 pushing upwards, pushing forward. We thought it was going to break. Now let me show you what's going on with with the JAPs. We actually have a few JAPs, and we also have the Canadian Swiss. Canadian Swiss is very highly correlated with the stock market. And take a look at this. Boom! Wow, it's getting so close to the target. You know what? I thought we were going to be able to add one more trade, but to be honest, I think we're too close to that. We're too close for that. We're just going to let it be. All right, we're going to grab that 67.27. We also have quite a nice profit here on this one. Yeah, but I'm just saying, let me go back to the story. So Canadian Swiss, usually highly correlated with the stock market. And all the JAPs, right? I mean, take a look at the Canadian JAP. Oh, wow, that's amazing. Look at the Canadian JAPs. Just hit that 77.64. That's a meltdown. So it's quite strange to see this deviation in the correlation, right? That's why I've said it before, right? Wherever we have a conflict between correlation on the one hand and technical, just pure technical situation on the other hand, we'll always go with the technical situation. We'll always prioritize what we read, the interpretation from the technical situation, even if it points out to something which seems to be illogical, which is, having a bearish conviction on the Canadian JAP and at the same time having a bullish conviction on the stock market, for example, right? But there seems to be a deviation in the correlation. All right. So anyway, the Canadian JAP looks pretty good on the downside, just right now hitting that, that support. But if we're already here, let me just stay here a little bit and talk about what we have right now. We have the New Zealand Canadian, which went up. So this is the only disappointment we had. We have 8 positions. They're all doing 7 doing well. One was doing. I think there was another one that actually didn't do too well in the short-term portfolio. But yeah, let me just talk a little bit about this one. The New Zealand Canadian just exploded yesterday. We didn't like that, obviously. So we got out from one trade. Right, we took out the higher trade in a smaller, the position is still having a small loss relatively, but we took out one of the trades, and this trade is still in because we want to make sure price actually breaks 89.33 by a weekly breakout confirmation. So we're gonna wait to the end of the day. If by the end of the day it's gonna stay like this, we're out of this position. Now, the one that was benefiting from that, obviously, this is the New Zealand dollar that's pushing up, right? That's why the New Zealand Canadian is breaking out. Now, this might be a legit breakout, by the way. Don't get me wrong. Now, if that's going to be a legit breakout of the New Zealand Canadian, this is also a legit breakout. Remember, we said we wanted to wait for price to actually have that monthly breakout confirmation, 65.47. That's the main point of reference here. And also 66.32. But 66.32 is more from a weekly perspective. But anyway, it looks like it's starting to look like a legit breakout. Remember how in one of the videos today I talked about the dollar index? That's also looks like a legit breakdown, right? We talked about that huge level that's been crashed. So, you know, this one, where is it going to go? It's going to go up, right? It's going to go up, and this is a legit breakout. So guys, right after this session, we're going to, we're going to add one more trade right here. All right, we're starting to get prepared. We're preparing for a legit breakout, and which means we're going to chase 72.45. But I want to show you one more thing. So we have the New Zealand dollar, we have the Canadian JAP, which is doing really well. Here, we're not going to intervene until we break below 77.40, and then we'll come back to increase the position. But here, from 77.40, we'll get real aggressive, right? We'll try to take this position to, 80%, 90%, 100%, maybe even, right? Same with the New Zealand dollar. We have a long way to go. All right, so let me go back to the watch list, because here, guys, we talked about, pound New Zealand. Potentially, we're going to get into this one. I'm still on the long-term portfolio, by the way, right? So this could be the next one. But let me show you what's imminent right now, right here. Aussie Canadian. Remember this one? So, yeah, I mean, maybe a little bit late, but we still have 400 pip to go. So, and you know what? Let me say one more thing. We might be getting at the peak here locally, so we might be suffering from a bit of a technical correction. Get ready for that. That's why we're getting, we're always getting in small, right? So if we'll have a technical correction, that's going to be actually fine with us. We'll just be trying to double down if price will try to just, retest 94.45, right? Something like this. And we'll try to double down here. We have no problem with that. So we're going to pull the trigger here, guys. All right, that's going to be the fourth position for the long-term portfolio for us. But as you've seen, the New Zealand Canadian is probably on the way out, so we're going to have one more slot to fill, and that's probably going to be the Aussie dollar. Yeah, this one. You remember I said we had the second disappointment. Yeah, I meant this one, the Aussie dollar. But obviously we already considered it as a loss, right? It was a very small loss, by the way. But obviously, we've been stopped out here by the short-term portfolio. But remember what we said, right? If this is a legit breakout, 71.35, that's the main, that's the big level here. If this is a legit breakout, and we'll know that by the end of the day, because we're going to have that weekly closing bar. And if it's going to be positive, then there you go. We're going to be all over this one, chasing 78.26. It's going to be so exciting. 600 pip, more than 600 pip. That's going to be the next one, right? But we need to free one. Obviously, we need to get rid of one of the positions we have right now because we're full capacity on the long-term portfolio. All right, let me take you back to the short-term portfolio. So, we talked about the Canadian Swiss. Usually we like to have at least 30 pip before we add one more trade in any position. And what we have here is literally is less than 30 pip. It's like 27 pip. That's too close, right? Even 30, it's probably too close. So we're not going to add one more, guys. We're just going to let it be, like I said before. What else do we had? I just hope yeah, of course. Like I said, short-term portfolio. That's all we talk about right now. Short-term portfolio, right? So we have Canadian Swiss, Aussie dollar. We're out. All right, we've been stopped out. Let me show you the next position for the short-term portfolio. Here it is, pound Swiss. Right? I mean, here's what we're so impressed about. I mean, forget about the fact that from a bigger perspective, this is the trading range. 1, 2, 3. We're just waiting for that fourth. And we think this is the fourth. It's just been a little bit complex, right? You know, taking a big rest here, and we'll complete the move eventually. Now, this is one, right? This is the big picture kind of. Now, here's what we're really impressed about. Take a look at this behavior of the daily chart. Now, we're talking about 1833. We're talking about 1859, right? So price first hit that 1859 right there. Then come back down, spike that 1833. Nice spike. Then it spikes, guys, the 1859, but ends up closing the day inside, below, right in between. And then spiking that 1833 again from above. That's quite interesting. And then exploding. So we think this is a legit breakout. You know, everything I've just described has all the elements of a legit breakout. So we're going to take up on this one. By the way, it's also, this trading range is well overdue, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you know what we say about the sixth, right? The sixth is the one to break. So 2089, here we come, right? We have 189, well, 180 pip roughly to catch. So obviously short-term portfolio, this is the second position that's going to run alongside the Canadian Swiss. All right. So guys, 3 positions right now, short-term portfolio. That's what we have, right? We're gonna increase the position on the New Zealand dollar with one more trade. We're going to we're not going to do anything with the Canadian JEP, and we're not going to do anything with the New Zealand Canadian. We already cut this position to 1 trade today, and that's it. And 2 positions on the short-term portfolio, right? So we're going to have ultimately 5 active positions after a very, very successful week for us. I think we did something like 15%. That's crazy, right? Very, very good month for us. And it's just closing up. Just closing up tomorrow. All right, guys. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I sure did. Anyway, we're going to be back on Monday. So have a nice weekend. Take care.